Okay, excuse our poor choice in clothing. Both of us are wearing black, and now we're in very
poor choice in clothing.
Yeah, actually no. Blame the sun. Blame the sun for being too bright.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, I can always go change.
Are you in frame enough? I'm always terrified when I have guests.
Yeah, but now you're like leaning over this.
No, I don't mind leaning. You know me in my videos anyway. I always tend to.
Don't do that.
Okay. I want my door open a little bit because otherwise we're all gonna cook and die. Hi guys, welcome back to a podcast in cars again with Mr. Luke. Yay!
No
Anyway.
one's saying it.
Oh gosh, okay. This video is gonna be one of those. Anyway, in today's video, I thought let's discuss what was the topic again? how video games have influenced the car scene, or have video games influenced the car scene. So the reason I brought this up was because of things like Need for Speed and stuff. Obviously, Need for Speed, a lot of us grew up playing Need for Speed Underground, most ones in 2005, so on and so forth. And then we landed up, being into cars, potentially more so the tuner cars, and then we got into things like, modifying them, because obviously in Need for Speed games you can whap a massive wang on it. So yes, so I just wanted opinions and thoughts on that. Something I'm going to bring up immediately. Sorry, both of us literally just woke up. So okay, I just woke up and then drove here, so yeah, I'm tired. So now I lost my train of thought.
So your first thing that you were gonna say about
the whole situation, yes, was I don't think it's necessarily just car culture.
Oh my god.
I don't think it's necessarily just Need for Speed. There we go. Oh my gosh. I don't think it's necessarily just Need for Speed. I think it's probably also anime. Obviously, Initial D has a very big role to play in that. Going a Midnight Club. There's probably, obviously, Fast and Furious is probably also a very large influence. And to be honest, I think for the modern generation, YouTube is probably a massive influence.
Like Supercar, Blondie, what's her face?
She's useless.
Yeah, but that's like an influence, because she just shows really dope cars.
Yeah, I suppose. So there's that, but obviously then Animal Z, Teacher Hunt, Shmee 150, I think is his tag. But Shmee, he's got that huge collection of sports cars.
All of these people, basically all of the car
influences, yeah.
And all influences in general. If you look at, they all have these fancy cars and stuff like that. It's definitely changed how people look at cars and how what people want in cars.
100%. For example, literally the sole reason I bought a Miata was because I was watching Gingium at the time, who he had recently bought a blue Miata and turbocharged it and stuff, and I kind of just fell in love with the car. So
that's valid.
Yeah, so I mean that's what influenced me on firstly my choice in cars. Then what influenced my choice in modifications, I suppose, was again also just from community stuff, less so from video games, because I liked the low profiles, again, shit that I'm seeing on Instagram and on YouTube. I like low profiles, but I liked LEDs, so I made my own kit. I like the front lips. My kit, as I've explained, I think on my channel before, is very cyberpunk / Blade Runner inspired, although not much of my kit is on my car yet. But yeah, so I mean, again, actually no, well, I suppose then inspired by the games and the movies and stuff from Blade Runner, cyberpunk, so on and so forth. So I suppose you could say that that's valid. To be honest, I suppose most of my influence comes from Kaisel and Yadizel Designs. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but they did a lot of concept art, and they've done a lot of concept art. I remember there was one of a old Porsche 911 with an RWB kit, but it had like a Nuka-Cola sticker on the side, and it was set in the Fallout universe.
Nice.
And that really inspired me, because the post-apocalyptic, but not necessarily apocalyptic, almost.
I vibe with post-apocalyptic cars.
Yeah, no, well, anything Mad Max is really what inspired me. But then I wanted futuristic but clean culture at the same time.
I get you.
So that's honestly what inspired me.
Okay.
I don't know what your taste really lies with.
My tastes are like clean looking cars. Like I don't like they can be sleeper cars and stuff like that. Like they don't have to look the best, and they can have like a lot of power, but I generally like clean looking cars. I don't like overshown looking cars, because I don't really want to bring attention to myself. I just want a nice car that I can drive and be like, ooh, my car is sexy, sort of thing.
So in regards to that, I've never really been a fan of BMW, but there's an old BMW called the BMW 2002. It was made in 19 something, but it's called the 2002. I don't actually know why. I think it was the type of race that it was entering in or something like that.
Not BKW, BMW.
BKW. But oh gosh, they've just repaved the roads outside, so all of the tires like still really sticky, and it's flicking on people's cars.
Oh, the little boxy one.
Yeah. So now I've seen one in the UK that was like slammed on a set of like deep dish wheels, like chromed out wheels, but the car was black, and I was like, that is subtle. It's like a clean build, subtle, but it's still like a nice car. So it's not super flashy, but it's flashy. That I vibe with super hardcore.
See, I don't vibe with the grille, because it reminds me of what they're doing now.
Oh yeah, ugly ass girl.
It's so bad. I hate BMW's new grills. It's disgusting. But the shape of the car I like. I like the boxy looking cars. Like like my Nissan or Datsun or anything like that.
Okay. Sorry, this has gone into slightly different side topic. Go look up a Toyota Celica GT, I think you can just say. Let's see. So
Is it this one?
no, that's actually a Celica Supra. It's kind of like this one.
Oh, is it your dream car that you were showing me?
Yeah, it's one of my
like
dream cars. This
it's a
boy.
muscle car, but it's not.
Yeah, this. Okay, wait, hold on. I was showing him this car. That is like, it's super subtle, but I've seen a fully blacked out one where they de-chrome that little piece on the bumper and stuff. It looks so good. Looks like an old school American muscle. It's so nice, but it's Toyota, so you could put a 1J in and people won't like hurt you for it.
Do you remember the car? I remember asking you this, but the car that Letty drives in Fast and Furious 6.
Yeah.
What is that car?
That was a.
I don't know why the letter R is popping into my head.
I can't remember the first name, but it's an Interceptor. They made fun of it. Well, not made fun of it. They love it on Top Gear. I remember they did a. I think it's called a Vincent Interceptor or something like that. Yes, there we go.
I don't know why, but I like this car.
Yeah, I kind of vibe with that as
It's
well.
a sexy looking car to me.
Where's... I don't know if there's... Because there's actually like a modern retake version of it, but yeah. What have I done?
What are you doing?
It wasn't panning. There we go. So, old... what is it called? A Jensen Interceptor, not a Vincent Jensen Interceptor. Yeah, I can vibe with those as well.
Oh.
See,
nice.
So to be honest with you, again, this now plays into Top Gear. Played a huge role in car influence for everybody. I don't care who you are. Top Gear, old Clarkson, Hammond and May Top Gear anyway. I suppose the Grand Tour now, but that plays a massive role in the whole situation.
Even for people who aren't into cars, they would watch Top Gear to know like if a car is good or not.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, my girlfriend's mom has below zero interest in cars. She used to watch Top Gear simply to just have a laugh at the British humour that Clarkson, Hammond and May had.
Yeah.
So
still
But you
fun.
get secondhand knowledge of the cars there.
Yeah, and I feel like in like terms of video games, like when we grew up, obviously it would be Underground 2, like Most Wanted, but for
A
like
lot
kids
of the
growing up now, it would be like Hot Pursuit,
Most Wanted
Heat,
2010,
yeah,
12,
the bad
whatever
one.
it was, the bad one.
They would have all of those kind of cars that they would be looking up to. So all like super expensive, exotic cars.
Pretty much.
But I mean, that's how it like influences them. You know what I mean?
So what I found growing up is I was initially interested in muscle cars because that's obviously what my dad had parked out in front of my window. So I kind of, fell in love with that. Then from there, I kind of got into just cars as a whole because at the time I didn't know anything really, and I just knew big grunty V8 cargo grr. I'm gonna be honest, that's what I knew at the time. Then obviously my dad started realizing that I was kind of being into that, so he got me car games, of which then I started to play with the muscle cars in the games because that's what I knew. Then we started watching things like Top Gear, pretty much all of these kind of things, and that's where my interest in cars as a whole and mainly exotics came from. But my interest in the tuner culture really only came from YouTube. Like I can actually remember when Need for Speed 2015 came out, I was also just getting back into the tuner culture because I was used to, obviously from game influence and stuff like that, like things should basically just be exotics. Tuner cars didn't mean much. But obviously at the time, 2015 is kind of where tuner cars started to pick up in value, started to become a lot more popular, so on and so forth, and hits off on YouTube as well. There was a whole big debacle, and then that's kind of just where tuner culture started to come back, and I started to get back into tuner culture as well. So to influence the car scene in terms of, that's the reason why people like the Supra and the R34 GTR, I'm not going to fully pin that on video games. I think, to be honest with you, the Supra and the R34, the main cause for their value is probably Fast and Furious.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably their main hits.
In all of the Fast and Furiouses, I think Tokyo Drift probably had the biggest influence on
That
the car
probably
culture.
had a very large influence on the price on the 350Z.
Yeah.
100%.
Because I feel like that's, just in terms of like car culture, it was just a different take. You know what I mean?
So for another example, for a not car person, they also generally watch through at least some of the Fast and Furiouses. I know that a lot of people have watched Tokyo Drift. They aren't necessarily car people. If I say a Veilside RX-7, a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about. If I say Hans RX-7 from Tokyo Drift, suddenly everyone knows what car I'm talking about. It's just the body kit that I'm actually mentioning, but people understand the variation because of the movie rather than that.
And that's how an influence is like created. Like,
yeah, no,
you
100%.
obviously see that. And I was thinking about like games, and I was thinking about Carbon. Did Carbon have like super exotic cars in it?
It had a couple. It had the Carrera GT. It had the Lamborghini Gallardo.
It had I think the McLaren Mercedes.
Yes, it probably had the SLR.
Yeah. Yeah, because I just remember like only running muscle cars in Carbon. That's all I would run.
I remember in Carbon, so I bought it second hand and the disc was scratched. So I just remember on Carbon, I was trying to go through the intro, and then at one point the map just refused to load, so my car would fall through the map and I couldn't progress anymore.
Nice.
Also, eventually I got that sorted out because they skimmed the CD for me. Anyway, then once that got sorted out, I didn't realize that was one of the Need for Speed games where the dealerships and stuff weren't in the garage. So I tried to play through the entire game with the starter car, which you can't do, by the way. So I remember, I remember taking, because you start either with Euro tuner or it's exotic tuner.
That's cool.
Sorry about that.
It's just part of the video.
Yeah, 100% part of the video. This is all a part of the experience here.
What is happening?
all a part of the experience. Don't even
What
worry
is
about it.
happening?
Don't even worry about it, cause I know you can only see my hand.
Just a
at
whole
this
bunch
point.
of
Yeah.
hand.
Just a bunch of hand, my dude. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to lean in so that we're in the frame together, because I don't like it when only half of your face is in frame.
I do. This is your show, don't mind.
So I can't remember what I was talking about. I was so panicked about the stupid phone.
So we were talking about carbon, and then.
Oh,
you were
okay, yeah.
driving
So
through, and you
I
could pick-
remember trying basically all 3 starter cars, and I couldn't go anywhere because I didn't realize that you could buy other cars. It was great.
Yeah, no.
Stupid.
My favorite car in carbon was the Plymouth, just because it was like a huge freaking like
Beast.
massive thing, and I was like, yep, thank you.
I remember in pretty much all of the older Need for Speeds anyway, one of the starter cars was always the 69 Camaro. I was like, yes! Because that boy was, like, that hit
I
hard.
think in carbon it's also the starter
Yeah, it's the starter for the muscles, yeah.
Mm.
I think, yeah, because the Charger RT is the, like, when you win the first area, I think that's what you win.
I can't remember.
Anyway, my point being is that definitely had a huge role in influence on that. I'd actually be interested in terms of video games for starter cars.
Mm.
How do particular starter cars actually end up playing a role in that person's life? For example, I know in 2015 it was the BRZ / Toyota 86, a Fox body Mustang, and a VW Golf, which, all things considered, if you've got a bit of money, and you're into cars, what's your first car? Probably a GD86. Okay, let me put it this way. A lot of my girlfriend's brother's friends that are all getting their first cars now, they've all got a bit of pocket. They're all getting GD86s for their first cars.
Well then.
So this is what I was meaning.
Okay.
If you're in the States, one of the cheaper muscle cars that you can get there, Fox body Mustang, and if majority around the world, one of the cheaper cars that you can just pick up is a VW Golf.
Yeah, but
Golf.
I would say the VW Golf is probably like the go-to car, because that's like 80% of what you see driving around.
Yeah, no.
In
Well,
SA at
locally,
least,
yeah.
And
In the States, they rare as hell though.
yeah, in the States, I feel they obviously sway to American-made cars. So
American or Euro, they have a fascination with Euro cars that I just do not understand because they're
it
terrible.
might be Mercedes, because most Americans have like.
Yeah, gang cash.
We're talking about like the moderation that has money to spend on a car.
Yeah, obviously.
Like, yeah.
We're not talking about generations who are currently playing video games.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I think they would either go for Mercedes or something American made. I don't really see a lot of BMs.
Oh
in
no!
America.
Whenever I scroll through TikTok and stuff, those guys that run up and they're just like, "Hey man, rate this car out of 10 or whatever." Like, there's always a dude in a BM. Always a dude in a BM. Not the old school BMs like we get here.
Yeah, like
but the new BMs.
Yeah.
Nah, there's like everywhere. There's always BMs.
That's weird. I've never seen like in America, like just in general. I'm trying to think of like a lot of them. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Okay, so subtopic here.
Mm-hmm.
What has influenced the States into getting? Oh, sorry, hiccups. Getting or being so fascinated with Euro? Because I know Audi, Mercedes, Porsche, BMW. I count Porsche within there because a lot of people daily drive Porsches. Yeah, I know, right? Wouldn't that be fucking nice? Anyway,
So stupid.
yeah. But a lot of people happen to do that, so I kind of count it in the same frame. I'm not talking about like proper 911 GTs or anything.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the smaller boy Porsches, but
Yeah.
still.
I feel like Carrera is probably like the one to go to because
Or Cayman,
yeah.
you know, or Boxster kind of setup. Yeah. Anyway, so within that, like, why have the States gone towards that? I'm assuming it's the same reason why they have such big fascination with the GTRs and the JDMs and stuff, and it's simply because it's hard to get there. So the JDMs obviously have the time frame limit that they're not like imported within a particular time.
Okay.
But I'm thinking for the Euro cars, I know it's just expensive to buy the Euro cars there because it costs like fuckload to ship them over.
I think personally it's because of YouTube culture, because everyone wants to make a big deal of what cars they have, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the more cars you have, the bigger your status is, quote unquote. You know, so it's just, I think it's only that's like influencing them, and then obviously from those people who have been influenced by YouTube, the other people who haven't been influenced by YouTube are influenced by those people.
Yeah.
So it just branches off.
Because I mean, let's put it this way: if you see a very well-dressed man who clearly has a lot of money driving a nice BMW, you're gonna be like, "Damn!" So
I'm interested.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I've had a lot of people ask me about my car simply just because the car itself has a status symbol attached to it. I suppose that's kind of why Ferraris and Lambos cost what they do. Obviously, the manufacturing has their role to play in it, but obviously, particular brands have value simply just attached to the name, of which it's a status symbol. That's actually why there's a lot of non-car influencers currently. Okay, trigger warning, because he's a bit of a contradictual influencer, but Tate, yes, I'm mentioning it. Okay, irrelevant of where you stand on the guy, I'm just bringing it up for a point he brought up in a video. Things like Ferraris, Lambos, Bugattis, whatever, fancy cars that have a status symbol attached to them. You recognize that status symbol, the fact that they're driving those cars with wealth, it makes you want to aspire to get to that point, which makes you want to aspire to get to those cars, which means that those cars hold a higher value. Okay, trigger warning finished. I'm not mentioning it again.
Like, yeah, the status symbol, like it's true. Like, even if you have, let's say, a rough car that you like pump out yourself, right? Like, it's still going to be a status symbol because you had enough money to do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Again, example, my car. A lot of people message me and they're just like, love your car, what do you do, blah blah blah, because, well, they're interested in being able to do the same kind of thing that I've managed to do. I got shit ass fucking lucky. That's what happened.
Yeah, like it's just yeah, that's what I feel in terms of the influence. It's just from YouTube to then local that branches out.
Yeah.
And it's only like a status symbol thing because everyone wants to be that person, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
Not necessarily everyone, but most people.
Okay. Side topic, has video games, because that was actually supposed to be the point of today's video, have video games influenced on particular body kits? For example, I wasn't particularly aware of a lot of these fancier body kits available until some of the Need for Speed games came out and it was just like, oh, Liberty Walk. Oh yeah, Liberty Walk. Or Rocket Bunny as well. Same kind of story. Like, I didn't know that those kits existed.
Yeah, I feel like definitely kids in general, most of them are influenced by the games, because otherwise no one would know about like different body kits.
Yeah.
They would just be like, oh, I want my car to look wider, and you wouldn't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you'd probably understand.
Well, you'd understand what they want, but you don't understand
in the car
what the
world,
look
you'd
that
be
they
like,
want.
oh, they want to do a wide body, but you wouldn't, if it wasn't really for like, I want to say Need for Speed hammering at home, but I suppose you probably would have, if you were dedicated into wide bodies, you'd probably end up learning what kind of kits were available. But moving on.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I know for the BRZ, the 86, there's a lot of kits available, and there's a lot of rep kits based on the Rocket Bunny kits and so on and so forth, because, well, that's kind of what happened. Rocket Bunny got shit ass fucking popular, so everyone now wanted to try copy Rocket Bunny. And I remember TJ Hunt way back in the day, he wide-bodied his BRZ, and he didn't know anything about wide bodies yet, so he kind of just got a wide body that looked cool, and a lot of people were shouting at him because he got a rep kit. of a Rocket Bunny kit, and he was saying he didn't even understand what people were meaning at first because he didn't understand that Rocket Bunny was, well, the official, and this kit was basically just a replica of that kit. Which I agree is valid, and now he knows, and he's got a genuine Rocket Bunny in his car. But I mean, that is a genuine thing that happens. Sometimes you're like, oh.
Yeah, when you go into something and like don't have the information, obviously people who are like
in the know
on you are going to like give you the information, like, oh, this is wrong. But then they don't just say like, yeah, this is like what is happening. They like just like poop on you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. The negativity in place there is a whole different story, but
yeah,
I know for turbocharger kits for Miatas, a lot of guys get a lot of hate because, well, in the States these cars are cheap and you can kind of turbocharge them pretty cheap with some Hong Kong Chinese turbo, Chinese choo-choo.
Chinese choo-choo.
So I mean, you
I don't know why that seems racist, but yeah.
Well, no, okay. Chinese being where it's located from, and then choo-choo. No, but now I feel bad, and I feel like people are going to take it out of context. Please don't take that out of context. I was not.
Take it out of context.
No.
Put a lot of comments in the comment section.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm just roasted. I'm off the internet now.
Cancelled.
Cancelled.
You said choo-choo.
I was saying choo-choo because that's the noises that the turbo makes. Oh my gosh. Please don't take me out of context.
It's more like soup. Doesn't sound like soup.
On intake, on extake, it goes choo-choo-choo-choo.
Yeah.
Am I valid? Am I cancelled off YouTube or not? I don't even know what's happening. Anyway, moving on. A lot of people get shat on for that, and you know, not getting like genuine Grady or Garrett turbos or anything like that. And it's just like, to be 110% honest with you, a lot of the stuff is actually all made in the same factory. Like, it's actually all the same shit anyway, so like, yeah.
For people who don't know that, like, I would say, like, this is like, again, going off topic, but anyway, like, for people who don't know, like, certain kits or certain, like, parts that they're getting, I would recommend getting genuine the genuine ones, because you have less of a issue when you, like, have a problem. You know what I mean?
My point there was, same situation as Teacher Hunt. Sometimes people don't understand that there are genuine bits out there. So, well, I suppose you should have at least the basic knowledge if, like, you're changing gaskets and stuff in your engine. Buy Mazda, or like, buy whatever the brand of the car is. Like, that's your best bet. Pay the extra cash to do that, because those people knew what they were doing when they built the engine. Rather, just trust them, okay?
And if you're getting a car with an engine swap, just make sure that, like, you doing your research.
I'm going to be honest. Don't buy cars with engine swaps until, like, you understand basic car knowledge and, like, you can modify a car safely yourself and you kind of know what's happening.
And also have the papers of the engine swap.
Because, to be 100% honest, engine swaps are asking for trouble in a lot of cars that I've seen them in. Like, it's just because even if you swap an entirely stock engine, that engine is not going to be as reliable as when it was in the car that was in the first place, because that was done in a controlled environment from whoever put that engine there in the first place. Anyway, that's again a different side topic for another day. But
just continuing on that side topic quickly, if I get my Datsun, I might do an engine swap, because I know someone who does racing engines, so I'm interested.
I know racing people as well, though.
There you go.
Racing engines, so in terms of the Datsun, sorry, this is a whole nother side topic, but we may as well just talk about it to lengthen out the video at this point.
This video is just a whole bunch of topics.
Yeah, it's just random at this point.
It's podcasting cars.
It is. It's podcasting cars. What's up?
What podcast is. You just go about random ideas and you follow them.
Fair enough. So, in terms of your Datsun, again, we have to kind of look into watts and stuff.
Yeah.
So, he's currently looking at things like the Datsun...
Is it 240? 240Y.
Yeah, it was the 240Y and stuff like that. Which, it's basically, it's got a 1600. So we all know the Nissan Champ, the Nissan 1400 pickups, little mini truck things. It's the same engine from that, but instead of a 1400, it's a 1600. gonna be honest, those engines are still not the best. I've seen I actually sent him links of one or two available. Like some guys have cleaned them up like hella nicely, but at the end of the day, those engines don't make power. To be 100% honest with you, I was actually chatting to a guy yesterday. You can buy the 1.8 liter Miata engine with variable valve timing, which is obviously nice for casual driving and then tuning afterwards. You can pick up those engines for like 15 grand. You get the gearbox and the diff to meet with that, and then that's probably about 10 grand on top of that. So okay, 25 grand for a whole swap setup. You're probably going to want to rebuild the engine and then spruce it up whilst you're putting it in. So I mean, if you're looking at the whole situation, it's probably like 30k.
I mean, I'm not
naturally aspirated build, just mind you, not turbocharging. Turbocharging.
I'm not gonna do turbo, because turbo for me is too scary. Because there's a lot of things that can go wrong with turbo. So,
in my opinion, again, sorry, this has fuck all to do with today's topic. Sorry, but in my opinion, what you could do is take again a naturally aspirated. Basically, just leave it stock. You're probably going to have to get a custom exhaust made.
Probably.
But you could probably run the stock headers. So you don't have to go fancy with like headers or anything at that point. So you don't have to waste the money there, basically. But you're going to have to get like a custom exhaust made. But I'd say keep it naturally aspirated until you feel comfortable with the horsepower level and you feel comfortable with how the car kind of reacts and stuff. Then change it up for a boosted setup. That's basically what I did with my car. The only problem that I did mention to you about those older Datsuns is they've got leaf springs and solid axles in the back.
Okay.
Whilst a coil spring setup, so what I've got, is best for like handling and playing around in corners and stuff. And when you start pushing horsepower through solid axle and leaf springs, it can become dodge. So to be honest with you, it's actually probably more worth your while. Do the engine swap, or don't even do the engine swap. Keep the stock engine, but then do like, I want to say like a 4-link suspension setup, or push rod even.
Or I can just save my money and buy my dream car.
Or just save your money and buy a 2000 GT.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of money, dude. Those cars go for stupid money, and I don't even think we have here.
I can get, no, we don't have here. Everything's overseas, but I think I can. Not this year, not next year. By the end of, in 3 years, I can afford it.
That's actually pretty dope. Okay, but side topic, Miata.
Miata. See, I wouldn't get it. I'd probably get like a Mazda, like a MX-7 or something like that.
MX-7? What's an MX-7, dude?
I think it's that.
The MX-6 is the slightly sportsier coupe kind of looking thing, but that's V6 and front wheel drive.
Yeah, I was right.
RX-7.
This is MX. I said MX, but okay, RX then.
It's an RX. Oh my god.
I literally typed in MX and that's what, okay, RX, yeah.
Yeah, it's an RX-7, my G.
Yeah. So I would get, I'll show you now.
An FB.
I can't,
because that's all FDs that are coming up now.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Alright, can I help you?
No, it's cool, don't stress. I'll find it. You just carry on talking about what we were talking about.
Okay, well, so, again, I personally feel. I don't think Forza. Okay, going back to our original topic.
Yeah,
I don't think Forza has much to play in the whole topic because Forza throws you in a fucking Lambo almost off the bat. So
Gran Turismo is also very good, like
with pacing,
just in terms of not really understanding the control of the car, but getting an understanding of the car, because they have like from like nothing to like super exotic, so it's like a good like showing of how cars handle.
Yeah, because you basically it brings you up in stages. So that's an FB. Not a very pretty one, but yeah. So no, in terms of that, Forza for me, it's got goodish handling. Yeah, that's an FB. Those are sexy.
I don't think it's this one. I can't. It's
okay.
fine.
So
I'll find it eventually.
Okay. So go back to the top. Firstly, say RX7, not MX7, and then say FC and FD, or FC and FB. Sorry. So that's an FC.
Oh my
Again, bruh. Okay, sorry, you guys are all gonna have to just bear with me again.
Not an FC, I wouldn't get an FC.
That's fine, because there's like 3 in the country and they're super rare, and I can guarantee that they'll cost like $500,000 each. You're not getting an FC, bud.
No, I don't. $500,000.
I mean, it's the same price as what an FD goes for, but for much less the car. Oh, that's what's happening. There's something on the back of my phone case that's making my phone sit skew. I was very confused for a second.
I don't think it's this car. Wait, it might be a different car. Carry on, Tori. We don't want the people to be
okay. I'm very confused with what's happening right now. So, in my head, Forza doesn't play much of a big enough role in the whole setup, because it just throws you in like random cars. It's got a very intensive car list, which I feel like if you're actually into cars and you know what you're kind of looking at, then sure. But to be honest with you, most of the people who kind of know what they're looking at are people who are already in the car world. They've already got a car, they're already there, so it means very little. Gran Turismo paces nicely, and then it puts you in slower end cars, an RX-8.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So RX-8s you can pick up for pretty damn cheap, eh?
Yeah, I'd buy an RX-8.
And if you're willing to buy it and then get the engine rebuilt, you can pick it up for like dirt cheap. Those are pretty dope, I won't lie. So, Damien, if you're watching, his dad's got one.
Nice.
I don't know if you watched my video, he almost rolled it on my street course.
No. Didn't watch that.
Okay.
But I will watch it now.
Yeah.
That sounds
so.
fun.
I used to have that street course set up, and basically I had a little bit of a day that I just invited a bunch of people. 2 people came.
Whole bunch of people.
Corin came in his RB powered 200SX, and he set a pretty damn good lap time. And then the RX-8 came and went after him, and he censored a little bit on one of the S's, and it just lost out, and then he landed up going onto the pavement, and the whole car like tipped up and stuff. It was terrifying.
I'm just hearing a whole bunch of crunch.
No, the car was actually fine. It scraped a little bit of the bottom bumper, but I remember being genuinely terrified at that point. This, people, is why you don't fuck around, because you're going to find out.
They don't want to smoke.
They don't want to smoke, no. So, okay, in terms of street racing, firstly, I don't condone street racing. The points of the street course, you must remember, my car was naturally aspirated to the point. I didn't realize how fast people could actually end up taking the course, and I didn't realize how quick RX-8s landed up actually being. And then because it was stock, it was on stock tires and stuff still, and it landed up just spinning the back at one point because he went too quickly onto the power. So firstly, don't condone racing out on the streets and stuff. This is why we did it off in the middle of nowhere, and even then, please do be careful. Moving on.
I condone it, do it. Even on busy streets, do it.
No! You're gonna get somebody killed.
Do Fast and Furious. If you're stupid enough to do it, then it's not my fault.
If you're stupid enough to do it, then you gotta be stupid enough to be good at it. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't do these things.
Yeah,
this
don't do what we say. Just say what we do. I don't know. Didn't make sense, but anyway.
I feel like Need for Speed has always been pretty good at it though, in terms of like the cars that it starts you off in. Or okay, not the exotic Need for Speeds that like Most
like
Wanted
Hot
2012 and Hot Pursuits and shit. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the old school Need for Speeds, or the most modern 3 basically. So 2015 onwards.
I'd say Heat. Doesn't Heat sort of start you off okay-ish?
So Heat's
I haven't played it.
intro car was that Polestar. That was the intro car. Once you actually start though, you get a 65 Mustang, which isn't half bad I suppose, a 200SX, or a BMW E30.
Okay, that wasn't that bad. But they're like still up there. But
Look, let me put it this way: as if you're getting into the community, especially states-wise, I know the Mustang here is a fucking fortune, but states side, that 65 Mustang, because that's not the fastback, that's the coupe.
yeah,
Those Mustangs go for pretty damn cheap there. The
it's also because they like have a freaking lot of them in the States.
this is also true because those cars were one of the most popular selling cars at one point.
In the States.
Yeah, in the States. The E30 BMs, I mean, we even know that those go cheap. In the States, those kind of go for expensive, I suppose. But again, depending on where you are in the world, depends on what the car is valued at.
Yeah.
Again, the Mustang is expensive for us, but the E30s are not. E30 there is probably expensive as the Mustang would be here, but the Mustang is cheap there. And then 200
Exchange
SXs are
rate.
just 200 SXs. They're always cheap. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you look at like say just the like car roster in general, Forza's the most unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, they've got literal track cars that you can still drive on the streets and stuff.
Yeah, so that's the most unrealistic. Then you would go to Gran Turismo probably. I think it's like
So Gran Turismo is difficult to say because Gran
because they
Turismo is
have
track
concept-
based.
Yeah, okay,
So
yeah,
they've
true.
got track cars and
So
concept
then-
cars.
I'd say Gran Turismo is more to the realistic side then, because those are all like track cars, and obviously the concept cars aren't realistic because they're concept cars, but
Yeah.
still. But then like Need for Speed is in the middle, but like Forza is definitely unrealistic. Like,
Yeah.
Need for Speed is also unrealistic because I mean you do get to the point where you have like a Vulcan that you can drive like. On the
Yeah,
streets and stuff
okay.
like that,
So yes, but that's like end game kind of cars where you're supposed to be like Fast and Furious after robbing the bank kind of situation. So you know,
such stupid movies.
they are stupid movies. I stopped watching after 5. 5 I can
No.
tolerate.
No, you stopped watching after 8 because we went to the movies to watch it together.
Okay, yes, I did go to watch 8, and then I immediately regret it. And now when I sit down and I watch, I refuse to watch anything past 5.
Yes.
So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even
And
at that
5
point,
was pushing it.
no, 4 was pushing it. Okay,
Yeah, 4 was pushing
4
it.
was pushing it, and
4 is where Letty dies, right?
yes.
And then they go through like the whole cave system.
Yeah, the whole
Okay.
cave system and stuff.
Yeah.
That's already
Yeah.
like borderline what the actual fuck.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What?
Oh no, Mustang! Nice!
I don't know. The one dentist here, this dude has a Plymouth. He has like the Ghostbusters like hearse looking car.
Oh!
I was like,
bruh.
this dude's got like so many dope cars. It's insane.
See, that's when you got money, but you also got like taste. So you don't necessarily just go burn it on like a Lambo or something. You're
Yeah.
just like, nah, let me go buy the cool shit.
And then the dude that has the like trailer business on that corner over there
Yeah.
by the stop street, he has an old school red pickup,
Okay.
but it's a Ford. I think it's a Ford.
It's probably a Ford F-150 or something.
But it's so beautiful. It's insane.
You need to come to one of the classic car shows with me.
I love classic car shows.
You'll melt, dude.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Actually, there's a car meet this weekend.
It's depending on when it is, because I
Friday night.
Friday nights. Yeah, I'll be able to make it.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Plans are made on camera and everything, so now people can hold me fucking accountable. Anyway, so I think we're kind of burning out our topic at this point.
No, I don't. Well, I feel like there's like still like a lot to talk about. We just like veer off because we have like
ADHD
good
brain.
things.
Monkey, go chung chung chung.
Yeah.
Have
Our
you seen?
monkeys
I learned
don't
how to
go
green
chung, chung, chung.
screen, by the way, on my editing. So
For
now
real?
I've got the
Sick.
monkey that does that, and I keep zooming out of my head to put that there because I'm like, that's exactly what fucking happens.
I don't have a monkey.
Oh, you just got the hamster that like runs backwards on the wheel.
I've got
Or is he just kinda
I've
sitting
got
on the end,
multiple
like-
hamsters that are just like deciding which one takes over. Like, yeah.
They have a table in the middle. They just like have a council meeting.
It's like, you know that video of that hamster that's like stuck on the wheel and,
Oh.
and the other one's just running over him? That's kind of what happens. Like, if a thought happens, then the hamster goes like that and another one takes over. So, yeah. That's the best analogy that I can do for that.
That's actually like facts. Straight up facts.
But yeah, like, we just have like good topics to talk about in regards to like branching off topics.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna be honest. That's why I just continued to film this time because I don't mind actually just kind of sitting down and then just seeing where the conversation goes. Like, we'll have a starter topic, but if it goes other places,
doesn't necessarily have to end on the starter topic, or
Yeah.
it can end on the starter topic. It's just gonna have other topics around it.
yeah. Please let me know your thoughts down below on that. Would you prefer us to actually sit on the same topic and then maybe have shorter podcasts, or just go on a full-on ramble, because we can?
Yeah, there wouldn't be much of a podcast. It would just be like a short vlog, like sort of
I guess.
thing, but it would just be an unedited one.
Yeah.
Cause you
Well,
don't do
that's
editing
usually
on
what I
these
do
ones.
when, like, you're not in the vlogs, because then I can only really end up talking for like half an hour, and then I'm just like, I don't know what to say. I need somebody else to add their memes.
I don't have memes. I'm just me, so
You are
I'm
meme.
meme.
You are meme.
I'm Mimi. But yeah, like even with like the topic of like anime coming into, like when we were talking before the camera was on,
Yes.
in terms of like car trends that you want to see die. I don't necessarily want to see them die. I think it's hysterical.
No, okay. Okay, so to enlighten, I had one of the topics to discuss was car trends that I think should die. One of them was, so in recent, I've seen a couple of cars on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. The guys have started to put the anime lines and stuff on it, so it looks like an anime stylized car. I want to make it clear, I have no issue with that. That looks beautiful and I love it. I've actually considered doing it with my car. I think it looks gorgeous. Where I draw the line and I think it needs to die is when it's on Euro cars. And I'm like, my dude, it's anime.
Euro cars.
It's anime though.
But it's inspiration. Like, you can't like take someone's inspiration away if they just like anime. Like, I understand, like it's on a Euro car and it doesn't like necessarily make sense, but it's still inspiration. Like, it's what it is.
I get you, but I disagree. I'm like, it's Euro cars. It doesn't belong in Euro cars.
I'm gonna get a BMW M5 and I'm just gonna make it an anime car. Gonna make it pink underglow.
Okay, so where a lot of people have brought up the topic and argue against me is there's a new one. I believe it's made by the same team that did Initial D, called MF Ghost. Somebody can correct me in the comments if it's not the same people who did Initial D, but I can't remember exactly. Anyway, but they. Yeah, but I want you in frame.
I'm in the frame.
Yeah, but half of your face. Anyway.
What do you mean? This doesn't cut off the camera.
So, this is a new anime that's going to be released, I still believe, and it's based with basically the GT86. A guy takes a GT86 and he's trying to race against high-end exotic cars, which then count. Well, people then start to say, okay, well that counts because there's an Audi R8 in it, and I'm just like, my dude, I don't care. You're not an Audi R8, you're an Audi A3. Please stop.
Speaking of Audis, I so badly want an RS7.
RS7s are pretty damn dope.
Especially the new
I'm gonna
ones.
be honest, I've kind of fallen for the e-tron. The e-tron kind of looks kind of dope. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I haven't seen a Porsche Taycan in real life, so I can't 100% comment. Yeah, an all black stealth out one.
The new ones are just, oh my goodness gracious me, that is such a sexy car.
How do I not get glare? Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but
where's
yeah,
the reflection coming from?
Yeah, I don't actually know. There we go.
Oh my
Camera
god,
can
it's
see
beautiful.
Oh, the black one though. To me, this looks. That's like next level.
Yeah,
Damn.
like. Oh.
See, but the e-tron looks very similar to that, but obviously the e-tron is a full electric version. It is. It's very
Why can't
nice.
we have nice things?
Can I be 100% honest with you? As nice as it is, meh. Like I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't buy one.
I'd buy one. That would just be my everyday car.
I'd rather buy. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me show you this.
Is that the interior of the? Jeez. Okay.
How do you backspace on your phone? Okay,
Backspace.
hold on. LC 500.
you get this car?
I get a Lexus LC 500 black, and then I bag it. Stock body, but bagged. Fuck, that looks so good, dude.
Nah, I'm good. I like my RS7, thank you.
Dude, does that not look good?
I mean, it looks
Look at
okay.
the white. Okay, the rims, they are ass, but...
I mean, it looks okay.
Yeah, there we go. This is the car that I was looking for. His stock body was stock rims, but then
It looks okay.
on bags, it looks so good.
My car looks better.
Where's the glare coming from?
My car looks better, but this is my opinion.
I don't know, I'm way too fixated on JDM over Euro. I'm gonna be honest, and I'd rather take a JDM luxury saloon over Euro luxury saloon.
Or I'd get an RS3.
RS3s are also nice. No lies.
Yeah, why can't we have nice things? Very sad. Hurts my feelings. Anything else you want to talk about? We've almost reached an hour.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I think we've pretty much hit all the topics that there was to talk about, to be 100% honest.
I mean, we could carry on rambling about cars that we like, but
Yeah.
that's probably for a different podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, so many cars.
Dude, there are so many cars.
So many nice things that we can't have. It's fun. One day. One day I'll buy you a car, dude.
One day I'll buy you a car, dude.
Okay, deal.
Deal.
Happened.
On camera, yeah. And Nick down in Durban, if you're watching, we were discussing both of our dream cars are also FD-RX-7s.
Nice.
So we were saying, now one day we're both gonna get FDs, and then we're both gonna go like just vibing in our FDs down the streets. And I'm like, hell's yeah. So Nick's, if you're watching,
You're gonna have to ship your car.
yeah, you're gonna have
overseas
to like
me.
drive it uphill, or I'm gonna have to drive down there. But yeah, what was it?
For me, I'm gonna have to ship your car over because I'm not gonna be living in South Africa.
Oh, yeah, facts.
I'm gonna be gone.
I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna be. I don't know.
I'm definitely not gonna be here.
I'm kind of just rolling with life as life happens.
Oh, yeah, but hey, it's been fun.
Anyway, thank you guys very much for joining today's episode.
If you watched this far, well done.
Yeah, if you watched this far, congratulations, my dude. You deserve a medal.
We don't hand them out. just
Yeah,
go
we don't
there.
hand them out. I haven't got, but you do deserve one.
Yeah, you can always go buy one at like a store or something.
Yeah, go get yourself a participation trophy. 100%. Anyway. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, cheers. Although I am gonna end with something kind of funny, because I've just noticed Luke's got, check at this Sigma face that he's got going on over here. That's like Alpha Sigma face. Sigma male going on over here.
He's got
Anyway.
my nose.
Anyway, bye guys.